Okay, guys, so let's get started. I got a few slides for us tonight, and looks like we're gonna have a smaller group here, so feel free to cut in with your comments or questions along the way, and we'll have a nice chat anyway. I don't think we bothered muting everyone, Murray, and that's fine. But if you guys could individually mute yourselves, there's few of us here, that if you just mute yourselves, it just makes it a little quieter for the person that's talking, that doesn't cut out. And then whenever you want to say anything, just unmute yourself. That'd be the best way to handle it. And I'm going to attempt to share screen here. Now let's see how that goes. Okay, hopefully you can see that.
It's good. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so today is September 21st, 2023, and we're on. John Paul Andre's on the line here from Nova Scotia, and I'm Mark Sheridan. And we've got a few things we wanted to talk about tonight. We'll come back and just open it up for any questions or comments from previous sessions. But a number of people sent in some projects on the Workbench, so we'll go through those and talk about those. Also asked a number of people to send in photos from some fairly recent gatherings we've had, at least over the summer, starting with the Lang Pioneer Village. The TNCC were there, and Murray took some nice photos. And Murray and I will talk a little bit about that. Sue and Bob were also at an Ottawa get-together. Serge, you may have been there too. And so the Ottawa Carvers sent us some photos of a nice gathering that they had. And of course, since the last time we've been on our Zoom call, the Bobcaygeon show has come and gone. And Dave Lukes and Murray sent in some photos, and we'll get Dave and Murray to talk about that as well. So a few items there and some really good pictures. So we'll just kind of take our time going through those photos and seeing what we have. In addition to that, we were talking when we just opened up before we started videoing here. Lloyd and I are going to be at Queen's University next week, actually, helping an art class, introducing them at least to wood carving. And we want to talk to you a little bit about that and have some ideas on what we might do to set up a little kit, if you want, that can be used across the province for other people having similar opportunities, similar gatherings. John Paul and I have done a little bit of work on getting ready for Halloween and Christmas, and we wanted to share some patterns with you on those two things, and invite you to give these little carvings a try. And then John Paul and I are going to talk a little bit about our next virtual show, and give you a little bit of details on that, and get your ideas on it. Okay, so those are the things that we wanted to talk about tonight. I'm just going to stop share here so we see one another, and just kind of open it up for any comments or questions that anybody might have. So go right ahead.
Crickets.
Yeah, nice quiet group. Okay, if anything comes up along the way, just interject, and we'll talk about those things.
Well, just a question while we're doing that, ask John Paul about the hurricane tropical storm that hit you. Were you affected by that?
Not at all. No, not at all. We just maybe 60, 70 kilometer winds. We're all ready, but nothing really happened. Mm-hmm. Not where I am. On the coast it did. It got pretty bad. I'm inland.
How about you, Wayne? Did you see anything?
Probably 60, 70 kilometer an hour winds and a lot of rain, but rain seems to be coming every other day down here in Atlantic Canada. So
yeah,
for sure. Nothing unusual there.
Yeah. Remind me where you are. You in PEI or Nova Scotia?
Nope. Quispamsis, New Brunswick.
Oh, okay. So you saw some too.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a bit of wind, like I said, about 60 kilometers. I think it was around 4.5 inches of rain, so we got a good share of that.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't even lose power in this section. Up towards Bridgewater, I think Bridgewater, Lunenburg area, they got hit pretty hard. But No, it wasn't as bad as they said it was going to be, but I don't know if that's good or bad, really.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. No, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, well, let's get into it then. So a number of you have sent in some pictures of your projects, and let's start with Lee. Lee, you're on the line. Why don't you talk to us about 2 or 3 slides you have here?
So I made a coal miner. He's just about 6 inches tall out of a 2x2 block of wood. The head and the arms are separate. And I tried a couple different paint techniques with like the plaid shirt and a little bit of wood burning. And yeah, I don't know. I just tried something out here. And then I finished him off with a pickaxe. And then that's kind of how he looks like. And then now I was kind of working on like a miner's cart with and maybe I put him in a scene with some train tracks and a miner's cart and something like that to kind of just complete it.
Yeah, a little pile of coal or something like that.
Yeah.
Looks
That's,
good.
thanks. And then
Your wood burning, you've your style of wood burning is improving too. I see you've got a real narrow tip for your wood burner, and it's making a nice fine line where you want it, especially on the wrinkles.
it's actually the same tip. I just learned how to use it a little bit better. And then
Yeah.
I actually come back now after I do the wood burning, and I'll like trim up to my wood burn line to give it just to touch it up, because sometimes in like some of the tighter corners it's still hard to get all the way in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it turned out nice.
Good style.
Thanks. And
Just
then
make a comment there for you that these fine tips that you need to get. One thing that works real well, if you have a friend or maybe you play a bass guitar, the strings break. You can take the strings apart, and the big heavy string, the heavy metal that's wound around in there, you straighten that out a little bit, make it the size of the original bit, and peen the bit down, or at least the wire down to really, really fine.
Huh.
If you have the kind of wood burner that screws the bits, the tips onto.
yeah. Exactly.
Good.
And then oh, so this one was just so the guy with the green shirt, he was just kind of just I picked up a block of wood and just decided to go at it. And then the one on the right is, or yeah, my right is actually a guy I work with, Ron, and it's pretty close to him. He loves it, and his wife loves it too. And then but that guy, he's 3 pieces too. The arms are separate on there, and then the head as well.
You live dangerously doing a caricature of a friend, right?
Yeah.
Turned out well.
Yeah.
But
What did
that's
you
on
use
the left,
to
right?
shade the beard?
The beard, which one? Oh, this one is actually just a wash. So I just did it took me a couple coats to get it on because I had it really light, because I wanted it to just look like a 5 o'clock shadow more so. Because he always has a 5 o'clock shadow. It doesn't matter. You could shave and then he just has a 5 o'clock shadow the next like hour. So it's he just always has it. So and then,
Lee, when you show him that carving of him, you can also show him you on the left there.
yeah,
Yeah.
they all kind of look like me. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
I just think it's just I see myself in the mirror more than most people. So it's just,
that shadow on the beard looks really good from the photo here. It makes me think Lynn Doughty, when he does the same thing. He just paints on the beard and lets the wash give you the impression of darkness around the beard. And he uses that Payne's gray that we've talked about a number of times, which is kind of like a gunmetal gray, a blue gray. And it also does a nice job for a beard. And you can put, just as you said, you can put as many washes on you as you want to get the intensity or the thickness of the beard that you want. But that turned out really nice, what you've done.
also the same beard. Like I did a wash with the coal miner as well. That's just a couple of washes on there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Really nice. Any questions for Lee? Okay, thanks, Dave. Sue, you're on the line.
Okay, just had to unmute myself there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this little guy is just a pine cone, like a jack pine cone, that I carved. We had our Wood Wizard challenge for the month of September at our club. Was the theme was pine cones, and I had actually started doing a realistic one, and I broke it, and I fixed it, and then I broke it again, and I fixed it, and then the third time it's still sitting on my workbench, and I did this instead. So it was actually inspired by, and I'm afraid I can't recall his name, but the fellow that was on with us a few months back,
Yeah,
and
that's Mike.
spoke
Mike's,
about.
yeah, Mike's on tonight too, so he'll really
Oh
like it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that he had a little picture. It looked like a little drawing of a cartoon, and I guess it was to promote a. I think it was a scavenger hunt for kids. And anyway, I thought it was kind of a neat little drawing, so that was kind of my rendition of it, and it's just a basswood piece about a little over 2 inches high. So that's it for him.
Nice. What do you think of this one, Mike?
Yeah, I've been enjoying this one.
Yeah.
I like those eyes, are really expressive. They, you know, it's a funny thing about those eyes. Same as the one we just copied a mascot out of a book that the children use to do rubbings when they go hiking through these various woodland areas. And those eyes are much the same, where it's basically just the corneas, and then you just put a black dot for the pupil, and then the highlight is just so on one side. And it's interesting. You don't need very much sometimes to make something very expressive. And then I like what you've done with the mouth too. A nice big face and big happy mouth. That's a really nice piece.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had fun doing it. And the thing with that jack pine cone style, you have to work pretty hard to break those off. Like the little, I don't know what they're called, but the little petals or whatever they're called. Yeah, because of course they're carved in, but the other one that I was doing that was more realistic, they were like relieved up off of the general shape of the cone, and there was a bit of a darker line going up through the basswood, and twice when I got to it I broke it. I said, okay, stop here now.
That looks really good, and I like how those petals, as you described them, are all staggered too. That makes it look really smart. Nice job.
I actually found a jack pine cone in my driveway when I was going out with the dog. I saw one lying there, and I picked it up, and I just put it on my bench. I thought, in case I need a bit of reference material.
Nice.
Oh, these guys here, the two fellows on my left, just a couple of gnomes, just something I was just picking up while sitting outside, and there they are. Yeah, they're about 6 inches high. They're a little bit probably bigger than they look. But yeah, I was happy with the way they turned out, and so I wanted to practice the beards, and that's where they evolved from, was there. So that was that. And the guy on my right is he's also about 6 inches high, a little bit better than 6 inches, which is normally higher than I normally do. And just a little woodsman. Again, some more beard practice. And yeah, I was happy with the way it turned out. And I did actually, it's kind of hard to tell from the picture, but I did try to get some more detail on the shoes now. Yeah, based on some things that I saw obviously here, and hopefully retained some of it.
Yeah, and I also like the detail you did here, like the wrinkles, just to make it look like his hands in fact are in the pocket. That really looks smart. Yeah.
Thank you.
And your photography
Sue.
Sorry, John, go ahead.
I said a big improvement, Sue. It's
huge. Thank you. Yeah, they
it's really good.
They're getting there.
I like the
Yeah.
colors in the jacket. You got a couple of tones there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your photography, you know, it really strikes me
Yeah.
as being super too. Like the background here, you know, you can see it starting to get out of focus back in here, and it's just perfect for the gnome. And this background is just over the top. I mean, the way you know, the way this is all muted in the background, a little bit fuzzy, and it makes him stand out a little bit more nicely. Eh? Just they're perfect photographs.
Thank you very much. That's it's a trail that runs down behind my house. It's a little extension of or a little offshoot of the Trans-Canada Trail. And so when I'm out with the dog, even if I don't have any carvings with me, I'm constantly looking for spots, you know, because I walk it, you know, almost every day, and looking for spots. And I think, okay, when I do, like, you know, some Halloween pumpkins, I'm going to bring them back and do them here or there or whatever. So, and there's some bridges over some creeks down there and a duck pond. So there's lots of potential ahead in that area.
That's really nice.
Thank
Nice
you.
carvings, really nice carvings.
Thank you.
Bob, you sent in a real nice carving as well.
This was a basswood. It's about maybe 6-7 inches high, and the whole thing is about maybe 10 inches long with just the sled. He was pulling the sled, got a tree on it. I used some leather for the pull for pulling the sled, and I did a little pyrography on the shirt to give it a plaid shirt. So.
Really nice. Nice choice of wood too for the bottom here. It almost looks like kind of snow and soil mixed in.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Big improvements too, Bob. Big improvements.
Thank you.
Yeah, huge.
You can see just, you know, the way Bob has done the wood burning here. You can see how round the arm is, how round the shoulder is, how round the body is, and that's really what the carving is all about, you know, is getting that roundness and everything that you're doing. So that's really looks
it's like a
good.
big jacket, eh? Big fluffy jacket.
Yeah, big thick jacket. Yeah. Any comments for Bob or questions? Okay. Wayne, I've got to say that in my opinion, you've outdone yourself on your carving of this one.
Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
You don't talk loud enough.
Yep, it was fun. I guess the inspiration for that one is there's a community up the shore towards Yarmouth from here called Widgeport, and it's an Acadian community. And back and I'm not just sure when, but I think it was somewhere around the end of the Second World War. They discovered there was quite a run of tuna fish off, not too far off there. So they started fishing them as a sport. And I guess at that time, tuna was probably good for cat food, and that was about it. But word got out, and they started an international tuna tournament. And they came from everywhere, and there was like whole royalty head teams, countries had teams. They came from Europe and everywhere, and it was a big thing. It was, and right up until I don't know, maybe the 60s, I guess, and tuna started getting more scarce, and they were catching some bigger ones down towards PEI and around, so it kind of phased out. But here a few years ago, they reactivated it, and of course now it's a very closely monitored. They have to have, there's a quota and the tags and everything, but it still goes on. It's quite a big event. So anyway, that's where the idea came from, and I had to put one of the typical. This wasn't one of the guys from the foreign countries that came over. This is one of the locals that's doing the fishing here. I should say there. I'll give them a real good plug. There's a museum in Widgeport, and it really documents the whole thing. And you should see some of the photographs of the first boats and the rigs and the gear that they used back in, like I say, I think it was around World War II, but in the 40s sometime. Even the chair that they set the angler into to fight the tuna was usually it was a bait barrel cut down in the stern of a boat that was maybe 4 feet wide, probably maybe 5 feet wide. Nothing like they got today. And some of these tuna they were catching were pretty near as big as the boat, and it was quite the thing. It was.
Wow.
Oh
I
yes,
love the backstory you put in there with the broken poles. And
oh yeah, well this is a big one. See, this broke the existing world record. This one did. If you do any research on it, the world record, as far as I could determine, is 1,496 pounds, and it was caught in, or was landed in a port in Prince Edward Island. So we had to outdo it. So we beat him by 2 ounces, but and I guess that's what broke the gantry that he got him held up with there.
Yeah, this is a real spectacular carving, I think.
Nice
like
story, really good story.
Oh yeah. And just the things you added here, like these little dark knots, the grain, you made sure that the end of the timbers were a little bit frayed here. You notice the planks here, how there's a nail, but it split the wood, so you get a little bit of splitting in both directions. This is his shirt here is buttoned, but his undershirt's poking out a little bit here, and it's just a real smart carving.
One thing
a good thought. A lot of thought.
Yes, go ahead.
And as
a lot of thought, Matt.
Yeah, it is. The one thing I regret after I did it, the poles and the crosspiece were made of just white pine, and I didn't leave enough wood. Like the rope is too flat. I should have made probably a 1/4 of an inch more, and I could have allowed 1/8 of an inch on either side.
Oh yeah.
But the wood burning, I mean, it simulates rope, but
that really looks good. Now I'll tell you, when you sent me this, the one of the first things I thought about was this. And Murray and Lloyd, you can kind of chip in here, because you guys have also judged at Ontario carving shows. But I wonder if, for those people, we have 3 or 4 people now in Eastern Canada. They really should be bringing carvings like this to the Ontario shows. And I wonder if there's a way, and it might be there already in carving shows. Dave Lukes, you might chip in on this, like from the Bobcaygeon show standpoint, but are there mail-in entries? And if there aren't mail-in entries, amongst the TNCC people, could we mail a carving like this to Mark Sheridan or Murray Lincoln, and when we go to the show, we'll go and enter it on Wayne's behalf or anybody's behalf?
Should be able to.
To my knowledge, there has not been any mail-in carvings to the Kawartha carving competition. Okay. But that's not to say that couldn't happen if there was some way of assuring the security of the carvings, and you would know who to send it to. I would think that that's a possibility.
Maybe, Murray, that's something we could encourage, the people that are leading the various shows to start thinking about. And if it's hard, if it's too much administration already for a very highly, organized event, maybe we could play a role in that. So, if John Paul or anybody from anywhere in Canada, we have members in Eastern Canada, we have a member in Manitoba, want to send me their carving, I'd be glad to take it to the carving show and send it back to them, or keep it for myself, one of the two.
One example of that, Mark, is that if you were to send that carving, Wayne, to myself, I'll take it to the wood show, in the Hamilton Wood Show, and it definitely would be a hit there.
Well, I'm flattered and all that, but well, for one thing, that one's gone now. I sold that. That one's out of the picture. But
did you sell it to somebody in Ontario, though?
No, I didn't actually. I sold it to a fisherman. But I have experience with shipping carvings, because I've I have shipped carvings. Well, I think probably, I'm gonna say every province, but, and down through the States and even to England. The cost is prohibitive. It's, you know, because for one thing, I build a box to put it in and pack it with these styrofoam nuggets, and you know, it's got to come there, get there in one piece. And I think I have paid as much as I sent one to a friend in England, for example. I'm pretty sure it cost me $65 to send it. You know, so I mean, and if it didn't get lost or stolen while it was in Ontario, to send it back would be, you know, it'd be another 65 probably. So I would think it would be, you know, it would,
Yeah.
that would put a kink in it.
I think maybe like what that triggers in my mind, maybe for our next meeting or a subsequent meeting anyway, I'll show you how I've sent carvings to people, and I've sent them, you know, to Europe as well, but mostly in Canada and the US. And I just use cardboard boxes, but I do it in a way where it's a box within a box, and there's plenty of, you know,
Yep.
styrofoam and all the rest of around it. And I'm gonna just, I'll have to look, and I'll have that ready for the next meeting where we talk about this. But I want to say it was closer to $25. And yeah, and you know, it's all a weight thing. It's all a weight and size thing, right?
Well, it's weight and cubic, weight
Yeah.
and cubic
Yeah.
measurement. Yeah.
But I'll do something like that, or something really quick, just to show how I do sort of the box in the box for shipping. And if it's something that that we think is useful, and we can get, you know, carvings from you guys out on the East Coast, and our other TNCC member Mark out in Manitoba into Ontario to some of these shows, I think that'd be terrific. Because as Murray said, that would make a real hit at any one of the Ontario shows.
Yeah, well, I'm flattered, but like I say, I build, when I said I build a box, I build it out of cardboard too, and I double line it. I use a hot melt gun, and then I usually put in the bottom, I'll put several, 2 or 3 layers of cardboard, and then cut out the diameter or whatever
Base,
of the base, so it sits down and it can't move, and then pack it stuff. But it's still, like I say, I've that one to England, that was $65. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them, I know they've been 35 and 40, like to Upper Canada. So anyway,
just on shipping there, the post office has 3 different size boxes that you can buy, and they'll ship them at a standard rate anywhere across Canada, and that's much cheaper than packaging up and taking it and putting it down. I know my son, the last time he came here from BC, what he did was he bought a box, put all his clothes in the box, sent it out ahead of time here, and he didn't have any luggage on the plane because the luggage itself was more expensive than the actual box that he sent. So, yeah.
Well, boy, some fellows can figure the angles.
Yeah, that's right.
It was probably on the same plane.
Yeah, it could have been.
Probably was.
It was in the cargo.
Anyways, that's a terrific carving. You should be really proud of that carving.
Great painting.
Yeah.
I
I'm
love
not sure.
the folded down
Mark?
boots.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I ship stuff every day, and the post office one price box, there's 3 levels, but they're very limited. Even the bigger level can be limited. I know, like clothes, you can stash everything in, but if you want to pack a carving that you care about, especially like something like Wayne's there, I wouldn't go there. And you know, some of the prices are up, and like if you want a signature, if you want insurance, it all adds up on the cost, unfortunately. But yeah, it can be prohibitive. But maybe there can be chains. You know, somebody's going somewhere visiting. You know, there's a show coming. Bring the carving and drop it off to somebody.
Yeah.
Well, the other thought is that some of the flights that friends of ours have taken from the Maritimes, Truro, Nova Scotia area to up to Hamilton, was $45. It's cheaper to fly than it is to ship by mail. So Wayne, come along with us, and we'll try to get you a place to stay.
I shipped carving to Blake Lungsford, and some stickers, and he sent me back some stickers and a carving. It was in a small $4 box, and they both arrived we just put a little bit of newspaper in, but this is actually quite intricate, so it might you might want to actually pack it a little bit better.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this one was quite big too. It's I'd say 12 inches wide and probably 12 inches high it was. So, you know, it was quite big one. I a few years ago I belonged to or I guess I still do, another forum down in the States, and they had a Christmas ornament exchange, and they you could sign up for 6 ornaments or 12 ornaments or whatever, and you got 6 in return and stuff, and it was a good thing. But the guys in the States, they could mail an ornament anywhere in continental US, I guess, for like $1.50 or $2. And Jesus, it was costing me, I think some of them were for $13, I think it was, or something like that at that time. And if it didn't pass through a certain little slot that the postmistress had in her office there, the price just went, you know, I just couldn't afford to do it. That's all.
Yeah, it's a 2 centimeter slot. I've learned how to pack stuff to fit into 2 centimeters letter mail with no tracking. But apart from that, you're looking at a minimum about $15 from Ottawa to Toronto. Ottawa to BC, it can be 30, some $33, $35. I shipped something to Badger, Newfoundland from Ottawa, and it cost 38. So it's it can be prohibitive. And also the other thing I was saying, if you do want to ship stuff and you've got something intricate like Wayne's, it's good to make carvings that come apart. That can be, you know, you send them with, that can be put together, back together, like the fish, you know, so that's, if it's, you can pull it apart and put it back together. That way you're saving, you're probably saving your carving breakage. So.
Yeah. Assembly required.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like you guys, a lot of you guys carve the head separately, you know, it's kind of like if you're putting like a diorama type of scene, it's great to, you know, to be able to just pop stuff in and but yeah, it is running a show. We had opted out of that in Ottawa, but I know that some of the big places you could, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if Belleville does it anymore. Years ago they did, I think.
Yeah. That might be something to start thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that conversation. Tony, I'm not sure Tony's on the line tonight. Pause for a second. So Tony's a chainsaw carver, obviously. And he sent us this one that he did for a neighbor or friend. And you'll see another one of Tony's chainsaw carvings in a few minutes, because he was at Lang and actually did one while he was there as well. So
I believe he lives just down the road in Winchester Springs here.
Yeah.
And I go to the flea market every Sunday and come back, and I drive by his place and see some of the carvings at the road. And
nice.
I always slow down if there's no car so I can see in the laneway what he's up to. There's always logs in there. So anyway, yeah.
And I don't think Fred's on the line. I think Fred's traveling.
Wow.
You remember Fred talked to us and showed us his pattern and project on Snoopy on the doghouse.
Yeah.
So he's really bought into Snoopy here, and Fred's also a very good guitarist. I know that for a fact. He owns at least a dozen guitars, and he's a good musician. So he's combined his love of Snoopy and a love of music together here. I think he did a really nice job.
He's picking and chipping.
Picking and chipping. That's right. Did a really nice job. Craig, are you on the line tonight?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go.
Not much to talk about. It's a Santa that goes in the end of a wine bottle. Unfortunately, the wine bottle I had to throw out because it's empty.
Oh, that happens.
So it doesn't get
Dehydrated.
very often.
Nice job. You did a really good job on the facial features.
Thanks. Oh, and then I did one. This is a belong to the hillbilly bunch I do. The only thing I haven't done was I didn't do the shading yet on. I want to do more shading on her, but it's just an old granny. It was very quick to do, and I thought
Nice.
just let you guys see what a hillbilly granny looks like. Because I've done about 4 or 5 hillbilly people already, and this is part of the package actually.
Like the wrinkles.
Yeah, I like the undercutting here too. This looks smart back in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way you got that curve on the apron, then undercut and a new curve around her leg or around the apron of her leg there. That really looks good. Okay, any questions or comments for Craig? Okay, I think Larry's on the line. He sent us in a couple of interesting carvings to look at. Are you there, Larry? No, maybe not. So clearly he's done some work with some found wood, which is always interesting. He's did some nice facial features in that. I really like these fish. I don't know where I'm seeing these fish, but I'm seeing a few of them now on Instagram or Facebook or carving
Pinterest.
sites. Pinterest, yeah, probably Pinterest. But
They-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the fellow that carves those is he's on Instagram quite a bit, and I think he's got a pretty good Facebook presence as well. His name is Nima. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I think it's Khian, Kian, whatever. And yeah, a fellow in our club, he did a bit of a variety of them as well, and everyone's different. Like these are very different from the ones he did, and but they're kind of cool.
Yeah, a caricature of a fish. Who would have thought, right? But they
Yeah.
really turned out well. And I like this
Yeah.
one on the bottom, the way he left the green in and how that it lends itself to the carving, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, they look
I like
great.
I like the camera shot there too. Must
Yeah.
learn from you, Sue.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, those are really nice, Larry. And Karen, I think I saw you on the line tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had the privilege of going to Lang and working with Mark. He brought me a boot to work on, and so I was learning how to do like wrinkles and stuff like that. So yeah, this is I decided to turn it into a cowgirl boot instead of the cowboy boot. So one of my friends suggested I paint it pink in honor of the Barbie movie, but I haven't seen the Barbie movie yet, so I probably won't.
Yeah. You did a really nice job on that, Karen.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When I read your email that it was a cowgirl rather than a cowboy, and I looked really hard and I couldn't figure out what made it a cowgirl, but I'll go with your description.
It might be painted pink.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah.
These are really fun to do, Karen, these boots, because they have all the elements, to me anyway, they have all the elements of carving, and it is that, you know, you want clean cuts like you've made here. You want some detail like you've made the strap and the belt line here. You want some wrinkles, but the biggest thing to me is you want the roundness, and the boot forces you to carve everything except the heel nice and round, and you've done a really good job of that.
Nice and clean too. Nice clean cut, stop cuts.
Yeah. And you know, if you haven't painted it yet, I would keep playing with it, and you know, because it's a good learning opportunity. And you know, you've made some cuts here for the wrinkles, but now really make some cuts, like really lean into it and make a real deep cut and make this, you know, so if you made your first cut along that upper line, make your second cut so that it comes way down like this. And now when you do that and do a few of those, you'll start saying to yourself, hey, this really looks like relaxed leather now, because the wrinkles are deep and long. So play with it a little bit and you'll really be happy.
Take a look at mine here, Mark.
There you go.
Mine.
Yeah, hold on, I'll come out of this and
a lot of wrinkles. looks like, you know, it's like it's folding. It's not straight up and down. It's
Fun to play with. Right?
yeah.
Really nice job.
Possibility, Karen, to make it look like a cowgirl's boot is to, once you finish your wrinkles and everything on it, then draw a rose on the side of it with some leaves, make it a blue rose with a pink cowboy. Because if you take a look on the internet to see how the cowboy boots are marketed, it's just phenomenal, some of the leather work that they do. And they do pictures like roses and stuff on the side of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a really
Thanks.
good idea. Yeah, good idea.
That'd be good.
And cowboys would not wear a pink boot, I'll tell you.
Most wouldn't. Most wouldn't. Most wouldn't.
Oh wow.
The last weekend, maybe with the protests, it might happen, but
yeah. Okay, good job, everybody. Those are really good carvings that you sent in. Thanks for sending in those photos. Okay, I can't even remember when we did this, Murray, but we were at Lang and we had August, and we must have had a dozen and a half people there come by, carving and looking at things, and it was a lot of fun. So
dozen and a half?
Yeah, pardon me?
You said a dozen and a half?
Yeah, 18 people. So we just have a bunch of photos here. Murray, I'm not going to necessarily talk about all of these things. So just, you and I can just kind of fight for airtime and gab at what we see here.
I just think it's a great day. The staff was very much appreciative of the fact we're there, and this has led to now the next thing. And so Lang keeps opening up to the carvers. They're very excited about the Ontario Woodcarvers coming there, and having this display of the caricatures was a real hit. Mm-hmm. So the next one coming up is actually some carving classes we're going to be doing for all day kind of thing on a Saturday. At first, a number 1 class in the morning, number 2 class in the afternoon, with different topics in each one.
And Murray got us a real nice setting here. We're underneath some really big trees, and then mostly in the shade. The sun came out. It was just a really nice day. So this here is the one that Tony Hendricks did and brought with him to show. And of course that's a very large chainsaw carving. We had a number of tables. This is just a few of the tables you see here. We just put our caricature carvings out and let people come and chat with us. A few of my carvings there. That's Rob from the Whitby Club, and he did a really good job of bringing out a nice display, and a couple other members of the Whitby Club were there as well. Arnold Koch came out and with his family, and they were all doing some carving, and you'll know Arnold from the shows. He really makes a nice carving knife. If you ever are at one of the shows and you see Arnold, ask him about his carving knife. He really makes a beautiful carving knife. And Arnold's family was out, and that is not a carving. That is a what was that, Murray?
It's a one-eyed parrot.
A one-eyed parrot.
He's got the eye that you can see with on the side looking at your photograph, but the character has got an attitude. And when their daughter is very much an animal person, she deals with animals in her life daily. And when she walks away, that parrot calls out to her. And at every one of the carving shows, they have the parrot comes along, and it just is an attraction. It's one of those key things to bring people there. They want to know if it is real.
Yeah, that's right. That was fun.
Does it have a patch on its eye?
That parrot was across from us at the Kawartha show, and I was over talking to her about that.
Yeah,
he's really sweet.
Now on the right here, Murray, I think those were people that dropped by to learn how to carve. Is that correct?
That's right. And there's the first timers, and they really got into it. They never left the spot. There's no washroom breaks or anything. They just stayed the whole day doing that. And I think the mother of the two, she carves, but this is where the son and daughter started for the first time, and they were really into it.
Picture of Craig there working away at one of his carvings. brought a number of his carvings. Craig brought a beautiful relief carving here that he was showing off. Really looked smart. Of course, Murray was helping people on the right with some projects. There's Karen and I working away. Were we working on a boot, Karen? I can't remember. We were having fun anyway.
Yeah, the boot.
It was the boot. But anyways, it was a really good day. I really enjoyed the day. It was just perfect weather. We all brought a little picnic lunch of our own and sat and had our lunch together, and it was a terrific day. So Murray, thanks for arranging that, and we need to do that again next year, at least twice next summer. It was that much fun.
Further thoughts I had on that, Mark, is that the setting, if people see this video later that are involved with the Ontario Woodcarvers, that there are sites over in the western part of Ontario that are similar to this, and the carvers actually they've invited us to come and be outside. So a little bit more planning, we might see something happen on the other side of Hamilton. The Tri-County people, those are the ones especially I was thinking of. And I think Niagara Falls would also be another possibility. But going under the banner of TNCC, there's quite a large number of carvers that are watching this and are very encouraged by what they see. They're trying things out that you guys are talking about and teaching about. And I think it's just the idea of going outside. We lucked out having a great day. Now, the backup plan of this was that we did have an indoor facility ready for us in case it rained. So there is an in case, but if you get to some settings, even if we went to a park somewhere in Scarborough, like the fellows and gals from the Pickering Club have done, and take part in some of the celebrations they do. So just increasing the knowledge of carving in the larger community outside of us is super important. People are right now, with a number of people written in, some new members in this last week or so, that are wanting to start carving. They paid for the membership already. Now they're asking for us to get people to help them to carve. What is in Oakville? And I hope the Burlington people, maybe if you view this, we'll be referring somebody from Oakville into probably there's an Oakville chapter of that club out of Hamilton, or out of Burlington, I should say. So we hopefully can connect everybody once they have need.
It was a great day. And we should also mention how good the staff at Lang were to us. I mean, they brought us a vessel with water in it and hot coffee, and it was just terrific. Just terrific. Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments from anyone?
I think
Okay.
I think if we could do maybe somehow a little more advertising. I was very disappointed on the number of carvers that came out from True North. I think we have to maybe publicize it. I don't know how to do it really, but we should maybe try and publicize it more so more came out. We could have room for probably 20 or 30 carvings. There was only what, 10 or 12 of us? I didn't count actually.
No, there was more. It was. I think there was a dozen or more for sure. There were a dozen or more for sure. I think the big thing, Craig, is, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, is it's tough to drive across Toronto, the GTA, and from Kingston, I got there really easily, and it was a pleasant trip. It's tough to come across the GTA, and so I think that's where Murray's point is important for us. Is we've got to figure out a way to do something similar like this, right smack dab in the middle of the GTA, and probably a little bit to the west, and then we'll be able to attract more people in, and and maybe even closer to the Kingston area, and make it easier for Kingston and Brockville and the Ottawa people to participate. So I think that's where we have to go with it.
The
More
difference
locations.
of this is not a competition, it's a showing and a connect with carvers. And I think the one thing just to mention here that you folks wouldn't know about, but we received apologies from a number of carvers that wanted to be there, but family had planned something else. And so that is, it's a real issue for most of us in summertime. You get into August and you're winding down towards school time. Grandpas were important to be at birthday parties and whatever happened. So It's something you do. No, Mark is a guilty one there.
I hear you. I
He
hear
will
you.
go across the oceans, across the continents, anywhere to be at a birthday party for a granddaughter, grandson. Because he's just new at this. Once you get to be teenager, you have a hard time finding out where they are in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, thanks everybody. All right, so you did something similar, and it looks like you guys had a lot of fun in Ottawa. So if you and Bob want to talk about this, that'd be great. Sue, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So used to just launching into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good day that day. The event that we had was held at the historical site just west of Ottawa called Pinny's Point. And we were actually near one of the main buildings and then off to sort of the right of where these pictures were taken. There's the ruins of a stone kitchen there. And it was just a really nice setting. It was basically to not to sell things or anything. It was to encourage people to come out and learn about wood carving and you know what all the different things. It's not just sort of sharpening sticks around a campfire or whatever. And so we had a really good group. Interestingly enough, if you just back up a little bit to that other picture again, the picture on the right there, those two ladies, they look very similar to the ladies that were at your event. Very, very similar from the back, and they were the same. They sat down and they were there for probably 2.5 to 3 hours, very interested in
Like
the whole
groupies, like rock star groupies.
I guess so,
Yeah.
yes. The fellow in the blue shirt across the table there, one of our club members, Rick Lacroix, he really had them carving the whole time. So it was really it was great. They enjoyed themselves. And then the picture on the left is Bob Thompson there with a number of his carvings, and they got a lot of interest that day. He had some really nice pyrography pieces hanging over on the left. I know you can't see them, but they were very nice. And so we had a lot of people. We have an introduction to wood carving course coming up. I'm pretty sure now we got around the Thanksgiving weekend, and I think it's the 11th or 14th. I can't remember the date now. It's on a Saturday anyway. And we had a lot of people express an interest, a lot. And I think we'll be seeing some of them out there along with some new members at the club at our September meeting that were very interested in coming out to the course as well. So it should work out well. But all these folks you see here, including the two very young people at the front that were doing some carving. Actually, they were doing it with little files, just rounding off comfort birds. But that was our group there. And
it looks like a really interesting spot. So these are all ruins back in here that we're looking?
They are. Yeah,
That
that's
looks like a really
the
interesting
stone
place.
kitchen ruin there that you've got the cursor almost over it now. But yeah. Yeah, and that fellow in the picture there is Eric Haber. I don't know if Eric's on with us tonight, but that's him. He brought some great carvings out, and he enticed a whole group of cyclists, all women, and they came over and looked at everything we had, and he took a group picture of them in front of our display and everything. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a good day. And these two ladies here, the one on the right is an engineer, and I forget what the other lady did, but they were very interested, and I'm anticipating we're going to be seeing them out at maybe at some of our club meetings or the introduction to wood carving, because they were very interested. So
Stu, a question for the organization of this. Did you contact somebody, Historical Society, or how did that come about?
We actually have done demonstrations at the at Penny's Point before, and our demo coordinator Pamela Prees keeps recontacting the same people year over year. And this is actually a site that's managed by the city of Ottawa proper, and we went through them, and they're always very welcoming. You know, in terms of you know, getting us out and getting us all set up, those tents, the tables, everything was all gratis to them. We just had to bring our carvings and a chair. Yeah, and but we've enjoyed going there a couple of times. You can just see over the lady in the gray shirt. You can see a tip of it there, but there's a beautiful view of the Ottawa River there and all the sailboats that are down in there over a ravine, and there's a beautiful garden in between. So we got a lot of foot traffic as well.
Well, we're gonna have to make an effort to get there next year. That looks like a lot of fun.
It's a nice place. It's very nice, and we were there. It was like we were there all day. It sounds very much like what you did at Lang Village. You know, we were parked for the day, but it was well worth it. I think we really made some people really realize that they didn't sort of understand or realize just how much fun wood carving can be. Yeah. Yeah.
That's terrific. Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any questions or comments for Sue? Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So a very successful Bobcaygeon show, I understand. I didn't get a chance to see it, unfortunately, but Dave Lukes and Murray sent in some photos of it. Dave, do you want to just start off and talk about the show and the organizing of it?
Sure. I'll get you to pronounce my last name a little different. It's Lukes, not Lukes.
Okay, Dave Lukes.
Which is a
Thanks
pretty
for
common
correcting me.
mistake.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a good show. About 10% of the carvings were caricatures, and there are two main categories at this show. There's wildfowl, and they have their own best of show, and then there's general best of shows. So with all the carvings combined, the caricatures were 10%. So I thought that was a really good turnout.
Yeah.
The show is held, for those that don't know, is held in the Bobcaygeon Curling Club. And about 4 years ago, they upgraded their lighting in there, and it is superb. Like, there is lots of space to wander around. And, well, Mark, you've been there.
Yeah.
And lots of place to wander around. There's a room upstairs that, you know, you can get a snack or something, coffee or tea. And it's just an excellent facility. And yeah.
Great.
So,
and so you're happy with the attendance this year?
It was down a bit, and I think there's going to have to be a little more publicity for it. And I think one of the things is there's a number of carving clubs that are rebuilding right now, and so that's a challenge. So that'll be on the table for between now and next year, is to try to publicize it a little more. And there was a silent auction there. There was 34 items in this silent auction, which was just great. There were 3 purchase awards. That's been a while since we've had that. And so there was a pileated woodpecker, that's $1,000 for first. There was a gray owl, again, $500 for that. And then there was a caricature, and it was $500 for that one. And for those of you that don't know what a purchase award is, that's where a sponsor puts up an amount of money and specifies what type of carving they want. And then the person that has the best carving gets the money, and the person who sponsored it gets the carving. So, yeah. So anyway, this slide you have up there, this carving on the left, I'm aware of who did that one, and this was part of a class to carve a golfer. So that there's actually 2 or 3 people who had similar carvings in there, and a couple of them did okay. The one on the right is that's in the open class.
Nice looking carving as well.
Okay, and same as the one on the left, that's open class. And then here's again one of the people that had carved in that class. Had a nice caricature here. These are the three entries in the purchase award. Unfortunately, the one on no, I'm wrong. Sorry. The one on the right was in the purchase award. That's for the curler. That's what the people who put up the sponsor, who actually were the Bobcaygeon Curling Club, and they wanted a traditional curler. And anyway, these are some of the picture on the left there. That was some of the other caricature carvings that were in there. You can see some of the birds here, and then the open category of the caricature carvings. Lots of room there to wander around. These are the purchase awards here. So there were purchase awards for the caricatures on this side of the table, and down at the end at the far left, that's where the birds were. So the carving the carving in the right, that one took first place. The carving in the middle was second, and the one on the left, that took third place in the caricature carving, the purchase awards. Again, here's another carving. This was actually a beginner carver. First time that they ever entered in a show. So the one on the left. So we had a pretty excited carver there. And this is some of the clubs that were, this is the Ottawa club that were, I think there was 7 or 8 different carving clubs were there. There were six vendors. And
boy, that's just pause on that. That's really good to get 6 vendors. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I pulled out of there with a whole truckload of wood.
Sorry, Dave. It's Serge here from Ottawa. My daughter and I used to go with Carve It Up, but
yes,
unfortunately
absolutely.
she had to shut the company down. But are there any more like tool vendors or?
Oh, I forgot his name now. Arnold. Arnold was there with his knives. Yeah, there weren't as many tool vendors as we used to have. There needs to be some.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The economy and like in 2019 she decided to shut it down because of Amazon and all the big place like Lee Valley and all that. So
comment there, Serge, is a fellow from the Belleville area.
Yeah, Earl.
His name is but it's his railway, the railway company or railway. They closed up. They couldn't go further after COVID. They were finished too.
Yeah, we just happened to be before she did it before, but we actually missed it because we enjoyed. I think we did 3 years. We went for 3 or 4 years to Bobcaygeon, and we're always welcomed. It's a beautiful place, and I'm hoping to go next year and actually with the club maybe and actually participate. So anyways.
Yeah, we were sad to see you guys not come back. Yeah, we quite enjoyed having you there.
Yeah, it's something that I miss in a way, but the work was too much, and I knew how to spell your name because I live on Loucks Road in Chesterville.
Oh, there you go.
How to say? I was gonna question you about that, but anyways, if anybody that hasn't been to Bobcaygeon, it's a special area. We actually stayed overnight a couple times, and beautiful area, and hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, so second Saturday in September.
Dave, this carving is interesting. I like the way that he got all of the markings on the stone here. Eh?
Yeah, really, he did a great job. Yeah,
that's a nice painting. Yeah. This is an interesting one.
Mhm.
I think this one, Craig Severn should say something about it. He carved it. It's really, really unique.
Yes, this is my we call him the Smoky Mountain Curling Club. There's a guy called Mark that maybe roughed something out for me
Oh,
and
is that
gave it
this?
to me at Lang. Do you
Uh,
remember that, Mark?
I do remember giving that.
Well, he got finished and he entered. Actually, we got a first prize for a novice.
But tell us about the equipment he's got there.
Oh, he's got a broom. It's actually it's made out of pine needles, and the stone is a real stone. I went down the lake and found a stone and made a handle for it and stuck it on, and yeah, everything. I had fun making this. I wanted to do something for curling, but as Mark knows, it was one of the ones I was trying to do is way above my pay scale, so I didn't think I could make a mess out of it. So I'm still working on it. It's not finished. So I took Mark gave me this rough out at Lang, and I decided to make him a curler.
That turned out great.
Just for laughs.
Who would have thought, right? That turned out great. Okay, any comments or questions for Dave or Murray?
I just have one. Just want to make sure I'm not on mute here anymore. I have to say, out of all the carving club or competitions that I've gone to and entered a piece, these guys had the most efficient system I have ever seen for entering carvings. Like I went up and it was quite a big lineup. I thought this is going to take some time, but it was so efficient and so well run. It was just great. Like I couldn't go on enough about it when I was telling one of my colleagues about it at the table when I went back. It was a great job.
Good. Well, it was new. This system was new this year, and we had a major snag. We had 3 computers set up, and there was a problem with a license from Microsoft on one of the computers, and we couldn't use it. So this is the first year we ever tried, and for those who weren't there, a number of things happened when you took your carving there to register. Is you not only got it registered, your carving was photographed right there. And in previous shows, we've had to do that after the fact, and it was an absolute pain because you had to carry the carvings back and forth, and there's always a chance of something getting damaged. But this way, they were photographed as soon as you went in, and that'll just save time down the road. When the winners are all put up online, which hasn't happened quite yet.
What a great idea.
Yeah, thanks for being patient, because we did have some hiccups with that one.
You'd never know it in the lineup because they say it was moving. So anyway, it's a great job.
Good. I want to say too, with this show, that the organization again, like say the same things, well organized. But the unique thing about it is that we attracted at that show with the clubs, the different people that came to demonstrators just to show their stuff, new people that have never been to the shows before. One was one young fellow from Curve Lake area, north of Peterborough, and his native background, he was carving spoons, and it was a great connection for him to see these carvings, to see everybody else. So I expected there's going to be other people come like this that just were inspired with that show. And just to say to Dave and the rest of you folks that are watching this, that this was a great show, just a wonderful time together, a great time of interaction, and just put together great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You'll have to pass that back to your club members. Dave, sounds like it was a super show. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, Queen's University an art teacher, an art prof from Queen's University contacted me to come in and take the opportunity to talk to her art class of about 10 people and teach them a little bit about carving. So these are art students who have probably never held a carving knife before, certainly wouldn't have been on a bandsaw or anything like that. We had originally thought of bringing them into the where we do our carving, or where the Kingston Club does their carving, and let them see what a bandsaw looks like and all the rest of it. But that didn't work out, and so we're actually going to be going to the Queen's campus. They have a little lab area where there's waist-high benches where these students will be there, and we're going to give them a little bit of project. Lloyd, who's on the line tonight, has got a lot of experience in the GTA area with teaching high school kids, and luckily I got in contact with Lloyd, and Lloyd's going to come up and help me with this. So the two of us will coach probably about 10 students. So what I did was I came up with a little design of a Queen's hoodie guy here. And it might have been inspired by some of the work that you've done, Sue, on your hoodie guys and whatnot. But I like this one because all of the curves are very, very simple. They're all outside curves. There's no undercutting or anything like that. And so I think it's something that they're going to be able to manage. Lloyd and I have about 3.5 hours with them. So we have 4 hours with them. We're going to take about a half hour just to talk about carving and give them a little instruction around safety, and then take them into this project. And what I've done is I'll show them these various steps, but what I've done is I've taken it right to the far right, and I've given them a little bit of a rough out. So I drew it on a piece of wood, I cut it out on the bandsaw, penciled in the center lines, and then just rounded from center line to center line with my Typhoon bit. And so I did that very quickly, and that'll just give them a little bit of a head start. Lloyd, in Lloyd's experience, Lloyd, you were telling me that in your estimation, they'll just be able to get it to sort of this state in a 3.5 hour period.
Yeah, that should be plenty of time for them to do it, though.
You think so? Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a try and see how that goes. And then this is how it turned out. I wasn't going to bring a burning tool with me, but I did burn around some of the edges just so that you could see it in the photograph, and we'll try to get them to that point. Okay, any questions on what we're doing at that point?
No, it looks great. Good hoodie.
Good. Yeah, good hoodie. Thanks.
We'll have to do a carving swap.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were talking about, Sue, before you got on the line is Murray came up with the thought that instead of trying to scramble around and getting a dozen carving knives together, why doesn't the OWCA buy a kit of carving knives, and we'll just use that as a pool that whoever has an opportunity to do something like this in their location, we'll know where this kit is. We send them the kit, or they pick up the kit, they use the kit and return it. And we all thought that was a great idea. I tried to get some flex cut knives because of some warehouse issues. I wasn't able to do that. So Murray and I are going to cobble together some knives and make this happen next Tuesday when we're seeing Queens. But when I started talking about this, when we were off video at the beginning of the meeting, people were telling me that you've already done something like this and with flex cut and have a nice little kit. And so the quick question is this something that you would in fact suggest that I get in touch with flex cut directly rather than through a vendor and see what they can provide us?
Oh yeah. And actually what I'll do is when this is over, I'll send you her name, the contact name, and exactly how to reach them through their website, like on what tab to go under. And they've always been very good to us, and I think that you'll find that they'll be anxious to jump on board with that. So yeah, I'll send that to you by email.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thanks for doing that, and Serge, thanks for mentioning that earlier on. Okay, any questions on what we're doing with Queens? I guess the last thing I'll leave you with is that this was just kind of a happen chance thing. The person contacted me, I didn't contact them, but we should probably use this as the opportunity for us to think about contacting schools or whatever it might be. If we do get this kit together, and I'm sure we will now, that'd be available to you, and it's a great opportunity to get new people involved in in carving, especially these art classes. You know, they're probably doing great oil paintings and watercolors and sketches, but they're probably not sculpting out of wood. So
Make sure to get the color right, eh?
yeah,
Those university guys, they're pretty pretty
yeah,
tough on.
exactly.
They like their colors, eh?
We'll leave the painting to them, so they don't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, John and I are going to just talk a little bit about some patterns. I put my slides first, so I'll just kind of go through this. I created this little Halloween ornament for my granddaughter, and it's done in 2 pieces. So the pumpkin is separate from the little witch, and it obviously sits in the little witch. This is what it looked like painted up. I'm going to do a little bit more on it before I give it to my my granddaughter, but that's basically the Halloween ornament. And then just based on that, I drew up a very, very rudimentary pattern. And so, you know, if this is something you think you'd be interested in doing, you can take it from this this YouTube video, or just email me and I'll send you the file on email if you want to give that a try. Okay. And so this is one of those things where, you know, you play with and you can think of things to add later on. And this might not work too well, but there's what the little witch looks like at this point in time. And so I carved a set of hands with a broom. And so that, after it's painted, will sit right there like that, kind of like that, kind of there. So it'll just make it a little bit more interesting, right? And I'm currently working on a similar carving that's done in 2 pieces, and this will be for my grandson. So this is a little vampire. And it's the same kind of idea. And if you're interested in that, I'll draw the pattern up for that, and I can send that to you as well. Okay, quick little carvings and just a fun little thing. And it'll make the grandchildren happy when they're old enough to understand what it is. Okay, and John, you sent some beautiful patterns here. You can talk to those.
Yeah, those are just a little Christmas patterns on for everybody to try it. They're about a 1/2 inch thick. So if you want to copy of that, just Mark, you'll send it to him, I imagine, or you want me to send it to him?
No, you can send an email to me and I'll send your file to them. That's great.
Yeah, so anybody wants to try them out for Christmas.
Okay, thanks, John. Any questions from anyone? Okay, well, let's finish off by just talking about our virtual show. So this would be our 3rd, I think, John. And we've got some ideas on that. So why don't you kick it off, John?
Okay, I was thinking about on December, we want to do a Christmas show. We want to do a Christmas carving competition. So anything related to Christmas. Could be Santa Clauses, elves, ornaments, anything to do with Christmas. And we'll have that for the deadline to be December the 7th, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll have it on the 21st. We'll have the finale on the 21st of December for the last show of the year. But so anything Christmas, anybody got any questions? Anything to do with Christmas, could be anything, and all depending, we might split up the categories if we got too many ornaments. But mostly we're just trying to get anything together at Christmas.
And kind of a caricature in nature too, right? That, you know, as much as possible, sort of a caricature in nature in between. If we can get those in, like you say, on the 7th, that gives you and I a couple weeks to do the judging and whatnot, and then we'll have the actual show or competition on the 21st on our regular meeting night, right?
Yeah, we'll so we got a couple months to get it together, a few months, month and a half, whatever, 2 months.
Yeah.
To get some carvings in. It's just creativity, originality. Originality has a lot to do with it, you know. Get something original, and we'll judge it from there.
Yeah, And take a really, we'll get a chance to talk about this again in our October meeting, but as you start thinking about sending in a photo, take a real nice photo with a, with a nice background or no background, so we can see the carving really well as we try to judge it. So.
And we got a couple months. If you got any questions, if you have any questions or need help on your carving, send us either one of us email on if you get stuck with something or whatever, or wait for the show and show us your carvings and we'll help you out.
Guys, can we send multiple photos and then you just pick one for just easier for you to judge by?
Yep. That'd be great. Okay, that's great, John. Any questions for John? So Murray gave me a heads up that because the wood show is coming up in the third week of October, that's going to conflict with our Thursday call because Murray and I will both be traveling there on the 19th. So what I'm going to suggest, and I'll follow up in an email, is that instead of the third Thursday of the month of October, we'll have our next call the fourth Thursday. So that's on the 26th. And that'll give us an opportunity to talk a little bit about that show as well, Murray. Now, what Murray has done for us is he has reserved a table for the True North Caricature Carvers at this show. And again, it's just south of Ancaster. And so we'll put the word out right now. If you'd like to come and help us display some of your carvings at this table, that would be terrific. You don't have to be there for the entire show, but if you could, slate in a day, that would be terrific. I'm certainly going to be there on Friday. And if we can get some people to bring some carvings for Saturday or Sunday, that'd be terrific. So give that some thought. And again, that's something I'll follow up with an email to everybody so that everybody hears that request. Okay.
To share that at the Niagara show, that's what happened, that there was TNCC people at one day and a different group at the second day. This will be a 3-day event, so you could plan to come either the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's free admission to the carvers, and also there's no cost to tables for us at all. She's provided this for us.
Oh, that's nice.
It's been a real help that way, but we want to support Gina Downs as she's doing this. They're pulling out of a real difficult times. The last show took place was in Toronto. There's going to be a show after that in Ottawa, and that's when COVID hit, was between the two, and it almost finished them off as far as the business is concerned. And the other part of it is that the businesses that come to do the shows with them, showing the saws and tools and blades and all different things, those companies, one of the reasons for the hesitation or slowdown is that they didn't get new products from overseas. Things have been shipped. One person told us it was stuck in boats out in the middle of the harbor in Vancouver, couldn't get it off. So it is one of the problems. So as they start up, it's a problem. So going back to the Bobcaygeon show, and I also heard these reports from the other shows that we've attended. One thing that's happening is the clubs took a tremendous hit, and they've mentioned the fact that it was there was a certain amount of carvings that we kind of expected, maybe hope to get more at Bobcaygeon, but the fact is that some of the carvers are no longer with us. And I can't remember the one comment. He's in Pickering, I think it was. He just passed away. He wasn't all that old either. So it's another instance of what COVID's done to us. And I heard from another group that they have lost their place of carving. I think another place has been condemned, but they're having a hard time finding a place now because they've got tools to move, like bandsaws and such, and they can't find places for people to allow them to do that. So it is a problem that we face, and I think that we need to be aware of that, to just kind of encourage the other clubs that we know about, call them, talk to them, encourage them a bit. And so sometimes it's been discouraging for some of the club members and also the leadership especially.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Hey, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to, in the spirit of club rebuilding in Ottawa, in the Ottawa Carvers, I mean, because of demonstrations, we've seen some new people come and visit the club and all that. And Sue can speak about the club invested over, I think it's $2,000 in refurbishing the website, I think, Sue. So if you can spread around anybody that you know in the Outaouais region, the Ottawa Valley, if they're interested in wood carving, to look at the website. Sue knows more about it, but it's something that, you know, we're trying to, you know, it's kind of weird in the time where membership is down, like, to spend a lot of money, but it's an asset for the future. And, you know, we actually saw 4 younger people come to our first meeting of the year, which was like it was so hot outside the first meeting. It was more like July, but they actually came to visit and they seemed to be into it. So if you can spread that around, the Outaouais wood carvers, just put that on Google and you'll see the website.
Okay, thanks.
So,
I just had a comment, Mark. I think Craig Severin probably told me the story. One of the fellows here, they talked to Cindy at Chipping Away in Waterloo, Kitchen area. And the number of carvers out there that she's aware of, the greatest growth has been in the 20s and 30s area, but they're not into clubs.
That's good.
It's really, they're there, but maybe by putting more advertisements out somewhere and trying to connect and make ourselves available with our shows and displays and such on times where these people would be available. That's where we're finding with the Lying Pioneer Village. In the morning, we'll be doing a spurtle. In the afternoon, we're doing a wand, or vice versa. I'm not sure which one. A spurtle is a Scottish porridge stick. You stir your porridge with a spurtle. It's something like a wand, and if it tips over when it's in the porridge is not ready. A true Scot would never eat microwave porridge.
True Scott wouldn't like me then. Okay, thanks folks for joining us tonight, and hope we piqued your interest at least to start thinking about a Christmas ornament and entering into our show in a couple months' time, and hope you enjoy carving those. So thanks very much, folks.
Thanks very much.
Good night.
Good night now.
Thanks. Good night now.